going on, everybody? My guest today is an award-winning comedian and writer whose new special dropped on YouTube at the end of 2024. Congratulations, by the way. Her debut show had a sellout run at the Soho Theatre in 2022, and she's touring her second show. This is Life Cheeky Cheeky throughout 2025. Chelsea Birkby, welcome to the Replay Gang. How are you? What's going on?
Thanks for having me. I am good, thank you. This, like, coming on the podcast has been a chance for me to get back into playing some games I haven't played in ages. So
nice.
Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. How long is ages?
The last time I played many, many hours was like at the end of, it was summer 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just, months. And then I played too much, when you're like, whoops, that was a whole week of my life where I didn't do anything else but that.
You're asking the wrong person when you say too much.
Okay.
I don't get a chance to play enough, and I would, if I got to get a whole weekend on, I would still feel like that's not too much. So you're all good.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you get the chance, the older you get, the less time you have. So if you can find that time without it taking away from other responsibilities, then there's no such thing as too much in my eyes.
Yeah. That's what I find hard to navigate, though. It's like, oh, this would be fun for a few hours. And then it's like 10 hours later, I've not done anything on my to-do list. My eyes are dry.
Fair enough. If you have a to-do list that you're not fulfilling, then that's where you need to put it back. All right, you're touring this year, am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it's my first tour. I just had the first show of it actually last weekend.
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
It went really well, thank you. Overall, really well. I think there are definitely like things to improve, but given that it's my first tour, I'm gonna let that slide. And it sold out, which I mean, I should play cool. I'd be like, yeah, of course it did. But I was surprised. I was thanks, guys. How do you know me?
You shouldn't play it cool. Always be honest about how it feels. Like, I think it's a lot more human and a lot more humbling for others and yourself, where you recognize that people have paid to come and see you do something that you say to yourself, I mean, I love it. It doesn't even feel like a job. And yet they're still investing in that. Honestly, every moment I get one person or 1,000 people in a room, I appreciate it every time. So don't worry, don't play it cool. Be yourself and be as straight up about how it makes you feel, because it is surreal what we do to be able to go and get people to come and see us live.
It is just amazing, isn't it? Like, that's their Saturday night that they're choosing to buy a ticket, come out. Yeah. But I think sometimes you could be much if you're like, thanks everybody, thank you for coming, where it's a bit, I don't know how you're supposed to play. I think you should play it a bit cooler than I'm playing it, which is a bit more like, please, like this.
No. Oh, all right. No, all right. From that aspect, do you know what? My mum highlighted this to me recently. I did a show at, it was one of my London tour dates. It was in Kentish Town at the Forum. And of the show, it was the biggest one on the tour so far. So when it's the first time we hit just like 1,000 people.
That's so big. That's huge.
This is the thing. I'm going, this is amazing. Oh my God, look at all these people. And I'm thankful that every few minutes, because I come on at the beginning and just warm up and have fun with the crowd, have a bit of a laugh for like 20 minutes. I'm thankful for the entire time. But every 2-3 minutes, it's coming out like, guys, oh, this is amazing. I thank you. My mum pulled me aside after the show and was like, you thanked everybody like 5-6 times in the first bit.
How do you feel your mum coming to watch you? Does she like regularly come and see you?
Yeah, now at the beginning, not as much, because I think I'll be 15 years in not next month, in March. At the beginning, she was like, I started young. Why are you not studying? She wanted me to be a CSI. She wanted me to work in law, or because those are secure jobs. From my background, too many people wanted to be entertainers. So me wanting to do that, she felt like, here we go again, another one that just is going to be a statistic. So she wasn't as like dismissive, like you cannot do it, because you can't really tell an adult who's pursuing a hobby that's not anything wrong to pursue, you can't do that. But she wasn't as encouraged or encouraging for me to do it. As time went along and she started to see that it started to work, then she was like coming along going, all right, I see that he's serious about this rather than this being a fleeting fancy. So she was a lot more stern at the beginning, but later on she started to come around. How about you? How are your parents with it?
Well, one, that's really sweet. And I fully get that. That it's like you want to encourage, you just want your kids to stand on their own 2 feet, I guess. I'm not a parent. But my family, they're great. They're generally like very supportive, and they've never had a specific agenda for me. Like they're just like, as long as you find what you enjoy. But that said, my mum is a nightmare. Like she's never been to one of my shows where she hasn't heckled me and the other acts.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my mom don't do that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Your
She's
mom
a wild
heckles
card.
you.
The first show she ever came to, it was great actually. I was doing a show at like in Camden during the Fringe, and she was like, she rallied people from the pub to come and watch it. We'd had like 3 people that bought tickets, and then she just went around the pub and she was like, you got to come and see my daughter, and like rallied everyone. Then she ordered a bottle of wine and sat at the back with like a bottle of wine and just yelled out more and more.
Oh.
And yeah, she, you know, it's an unusual method, but I do feel loved and supported. And it's fine when it's me, but when she has heckled other acts, I've been like, oh,
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't be doing that. Yeah.
No familiarity. So for them, it's not my mum that's heckling you. It's just an audience member that's disruptive and she's
It's a heckler. Yeah. And she doesn't, I don't think, maybe this is a classic like heckler problem, but I don't think she understands that it's bad, because often the comics handle it well and they get a laugh out of it. So she's like, oh, look, we contributed to this funny moment.
Yeah, a lot of
it's
people
like,
think that way. They really do.
Yeah.
Like they. I mean, I would say it's partially our fault at times, especially in the past year and a half. And I definitely have attributed to this. A lot of the audience think that comedy isn't something that's necessarily scripted, or that there is an act or scenes that we create for our delivery of our performance. They think we react only to what the crowd give us, and then we keep hitting the crowd back. So when they go, well, I'll be that person, I get people that buy out my front rows and second rows before anything else, just because they either want to see somebody get like ripped into, or they want to be that person themselves.
Yeah.
Not realizing that actually that's only a bonus, an addition, and a bit of an icing on the top of the cake, as opposed to it being, I have a whole script here in my mind that I'm trying to go through. You guys have got to let me go through and get this off.
and because it is complicated, because stand-up feels like a conversation, but it mostly is one way, isn't it? Like the only response the audience should ideally do is laugh.
Exactly. Sounds like
which is kind of it's a rude thing, actually. Just be like, just listen to me for an hour, and the only response I want is laughter. But with your like front row that book it up and want interaction, how do you handle that? Do you just like, do you get that all in that first section where you're like, this is the chatty part?
I do 20 minutes off the top before I bring on my opener. Then we have a break, and then I do my 75. Now, the 20 minutes off the top is all what crowd work. I've had people think that I've planted people to get bits and so on. I've never, ever done that. And yet, because I've been doing this long enough to be able to work with a crowd, and also I used to compare a lot of events as well, rather than just be a traditional set, having that tool works.
It is confusing, because my favorite thing about like watching stand up is seeing those live moments that you feel like, doesn't matter if it's the same tour or the same show someone's been doing. It's like what happens in the alchemy of that room that night. But that really goes against the fact that I tend to be a really like, you know, I'm a writer, like I tend to be a scripted person. Like this is a free flowing conversation today. I've written notes.
You wrote script.
I'm outing myself. So I like pull in 2 directions, where it's like, part of me is like, I've done the homework, I want to like get full marks, and the other part's like, no, what I really love is the things that happen in the moment. So so here's some honesty.
You've anticipated some of my questions and gone, all right, I've got an answer for this if he asks me this.
Yeah, thinking about this, doing my homework, I think about how formative video games have been to me, and how much I see the world almost through a video game lens a lot of the time. Like, what occurred to me, I was thinking the other day about how in stand-up sometimes, have you ever played Guitar Hero?
Yes.
You know, there's the whammy bar where you can like get more star power by kind of, or like, whammying it.
Yeah.
I think do you get this sometimes in stand-up? And I never had this when I was new. It's only something that I'm getting now. I guess I'm getting better. But where you get a laugh, same joke as always, like, but you can just almost like, there's a way of like hitting the whammy bar, and you just get like a bit more crowd reaction from it.
Yeah, you squeeze more out of the punch. And like, there are little things that people do. Like, some of my ad libs are on a joke. When I know people have reacted to something, I'll cut the next bit in terms of like, I'm leading into the next, and I'll pull back and say, no, shut, I don't even care. Like, and then that alone, or I might laugh or smile, or I might have a facial reaction, which the joke is a joke, but that takes more, it just ramps it up.
It's so true about just like little tags like that like you're not adding any extra material to the joke, but it just like launches them. Like, And so I think of it think in a video game way like that sometimes. And I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which is a whole thing because I don't think I have it anymore. But the joke is the doctor says that's a classic sign. So that's me. But when I try and explain, so bipolar disorder, you have like mania and depression.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have experienced like depression or something like it. But mania, not everyone has. And sometimes I think the best way to explain that is in like video game metaphors. Like when you're manic, you feel like, I was thinking about Crash Team Racing, when you get like Aku and you've got like the protection and you're going like super fast. That is what it feels like when you're manic, because you're just like, oh my God, I'm so capable of anything. Like nothing can harm me.
Oh, wow.
I'm like going faster than everyone else. Like you just feel the best. But unfortunately, the reality is in real life, you don't have like this protector.
Of course, yeah. Are there any characters in video games that you look at and go, that person I relate to, that's a bit of me, I can really see myself in this person?
No, do you know what? I think a lot of people play video games and they like relate to the characters. I tend to go for characters who are, or like play games where they're really nothing like me. So the character that I feel most connected to is John Marston in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I prepared. I brought my cowboy hat.
Oh, nice. Okay. Do you why do you wear it for a bit?
I don't think it could go with my
headphones.
Yeah, I've never been a bandit. I've never been an outlaw. I've never been a family man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's that like he's trying to be good. Not that I've ever, I don't know. But like he's trying to be good. He's trying to do the right thing. And he's got these tasks. And maybe it's just that how good the storytelling is in that game, that it doesn't matter if you're absolutely nothing like the person, but you empathize and you feel what they're going through. So he's the character I love the most, and I feel like I know him.
Do you feel it's because of you can see certain elements of him in you, but it's the decisions that he made has gone on one different path, and you can live vicariously through that rather than having to make those real life decisions now? Do you think there's elements of that? Because you said he's like a family man, he's an outlaw trying to be good. I don't know your background. You may have been an outlaw in your past, but I'm assuming based on what you just said, because he isn't like you fully, you're not an outlaw, but being able to play as one trying to find good. Do you think it may be because there are similarities that you see in you, but it's just different decisions within the realm of where they are?
Yeah, I think you're right. There is something of that, because I have not, like, historically, actually, even currently, I'm not that good at expressing anger, but I have this love for violent video games, for like action films where if someone has double weapons, I'm like immediately like, okay, this is one of my favorite films of all time. Like that's the coolest thing ever to me. And I think playing like John Marston in particular, it's fun because you have this like extreme, you can like shoot people, you can like hog tie them. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so you get to be violent, but it's almost, and it's sanctioned because he's this moral guy, or he's on he's trying to be, he's on a moral journey, that it's almost like you get the thrill of the the violence and the rampaging, but you're like, no, but he's a good guy. Like he lets me kind of live that.
You remind me of, have you ever seen Alita, Battle Angel?
No.
Watch it. I think it's on Netflix still. Watch it. Alita, Battle Angel. It's a great action movie. She is kind of a cyborg, but with more human characteristics in terms of who she is as a person. Heart of gold, but her capabilities of what she can do, she discovers she's an absolute murdering machine. If you like...
I'm sold. I'm on board. That sounds great.
If you like characters that are really sweet, but they have kind of a edge where I could really destroy absolutely anything, that is a great movie for you to watch.
I do think that's one of the things that I sort of love about stand-up too, because I have... like, I don't know, sometimes I'm received as like sweet and innocent. And I like that stand-up it has this combative element. You know, it is like that, people talk about like you kill on stage or like, oh my God, they died. And there is a sort of kill or be killed. And I think even earlier today, you said something about like, how do you attack stand-up? There is this like combat element to it.
Oh yeah.
And I think I love that combo of like, how do you make like a sweet persona work in this like battle environment, especially if it's like clubs at the weekend. That just is so rich to me. I love figuring out how to do that.
Have you ever played like through combat video games? Because I'm assuming you don't do combat on a day-to-day basis now. Do you ever play through combat video games at all?
Not so much. Mostly my video game categories fall into like, so racing games. I just love racing games. And I think some of that's an expression as well of like I don't know, violence and power.
Yes, Crash Team Racing is one of them.
Crash Team Racing is, I feel like the sewer speedway level of Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, great.
I feel like I could take on any listener to this podcast, any viewer. I think I'm one of the best in the world at that. Yeah, so Crash Team Racing, I love all of the actually not all of the Grand Theft Auto games. I haven't played them, but like 5 and Vice City are incredible. And then I like quite sweet games like Stardew Valley. And the game I'm most embarrassed to admit that I like, especially because I got into it in my late 20s, which is not really the classic story of this. Can you guess? Do you know what it's going to be?
Give me a hint, because I really want to guess this, actually. Give me a hint.
One hint is Lana Del Rey said it was her most unfavorite game of all time. Does that help? Or are we in different worlds?
No, I no. The only reference I have of Lana Del Rey, she did one of the songs for Maleficent soundtrack that I love. But no.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's I know you. I wanted you once upon a dream. That's it. Upon a dream, but like a really
That's sweet.
Surreal version.
She has that song video games as well, actually. Because I think she's had a lot of boyfriends who play a lot of video games, and that's partly why she hates this one, because she's like, oh, it just absorbs all of their time, and I've lost many. Like,
if it absorbs a lot of time, it's got to be a Call of Duty or a what game has absorbed a lot of people's time?
It's dorkier.
It's not World of Warcraft, is it?
Yeah, it's World of Warcraft.
Is it World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. When you said dorky, I was like, that we have to kind of go down the WoW realm. Yeah. World of Warcraft.
With respect, I say it as a player. I say that as a level 48 Frost Mage, so I feel like I'm qualified to call the people that play it.
I have to ask you, because I never got into World of Warcraft.
Yeah. What
is it about it that makes you go, I want to be in this game, I want to play this, and I want to level up every time I get a chance?
Good question. I thought I'd missed the boat too, because everyone I know that plays it, they're playing it now, are kind of playing it through nostalgia reasons from having played it when they were a teen.
Yeah.
But I got into it, like a few years ago. What made me want to play it was I was just intrigued that people have spent that much time on it. Also, I have this like ongoing joke in my stand-up about how the only people who fancy me love Lord of the Rings, and it's because like my ears.
All right, for those who are listening via podcast channels and can't see what I'm seeing, Chelsea took off her headphones and went full Frodo on me. With all love and respect, I think they're cute. Before I say anything further, do you feel conscious about them?
I used to hate them as a teen, but now I've learned, I don't know, I like them, and also like
cute.
There are a lot of Lord of the Rings fans out there, as it turns out. So
I love LOTR, and just the games as well. Fantastic. I wouldn't relate you to, I love Lord of the Rings, so I love Chelsea in her ears. I think that would be disrespectful. However, if it does work for somebody, let's say there was someone you did like, and it was like, what's the hook? Oh, we like Lord of the Rings. Take your earring. Yeah. No, so that could work for you.
I feel like they've been like fetishized into me liking them, which I don't feel like is the ideal way to like embrace different parts of how you look. But hey, it's worked for me. I've become empowered through men liking my ears. So
wow.
That was partly it. Like I have an interest in like elfy, ethereal stuff, partly through that joke, but also I guess it resonates. And I was just like going through a stressful time, and I was like, do you know what? I think it's time for me to spend 100 hours in Azeroth. So I started World of Warcraft and loved it immediately. Like it's so, I know it's called World of Warcraft, but I find it very peaceful. Like it's a very like Zen environment. I think it's like beautifully made. I don't understand all of the lore. Also, I play it solo, which I think there's a valid way to play, but I think a lot of people, play as groups but I'm just doing it like story quests really. And I find it really peaceful. And this is, I think, not ideal. This is what troubles me about my gaming sometimes, is I'll get too into feeling good about myself by accomplishing things in like story quests.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's just escapism from the real world, which I hate it when people are like, oh, games is just escapism. I think games are art, games are play, games are creativity. But I do have a draw to games sometimes when it's like I'm stressed in the real world. It's time for me to disappear into the Eastern Kingdoms,
of course,
and get stuff off my to-do list there.
Nothing wrong with that though. I mean,
Yeah.
There is an escapism, but I don't think it should be demonized for being one. Because sometimes we do need to switch off. Like there are people that go into the bathroom, have a bath, and they switch off from outside of the bathroom. It's being in the moment of the water, maybe some candles, putting on some music, and that's their way of switching off. For others, it's to chase down a dinosaur that keeps robbing a princess every chance that he gets, whilst like my brother seems to be scared of ghosts. Like if that's their outlet, nothing wrong with that. Everyone's got their outlet and their need to escape as well. So it shouldn't be demonized as an escapism that's negative.
I think there is a bias in my mind sometimes where I think it's as simple as, I'm like, book good, game bad, which I resist. I don't think is right.
Yeah.
But I'm more likely to feel guilty when I've played like hours and hours of a game rather than like, oh, I've spent all day reading a book.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, I do resist that. Another way I had that was with animations. Like it took me years to watch BoJack Horseman, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And I think it's because I was biased. I was like, I'm an adult. I don't watch cartoons. And now I'm like, oh, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to let go of these. I don't know where they've come from, but there are biases that are sometimes like games or against animations. And
Yeah.
I think they're wrong, but they're still not fully removed from the back of my mind.
Speaking of game bad, what's the worst game you remember ever playing?
Okay, I think this is a controversial one because I think this game's a classic and it's beloved. I think Spyro the Dragon sucks.
Oh, wow. No way. Spyro the Dragon, I don't know if I can...
Oh no, is the podcast done? Over. You're like, get off my show.
I'm not that passionate to try and to shut this down from then. But I've never heard anyone tell me that the game is like it sucks. Maybe one or two people have, actually, when I come to think of it. But I can't see how. It was literally... Are you somebody that played Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah.
And then after Crash Bandicoot, did you go to Spyro the Dragon?
Yeah.
Because it was made by the same developer, were you expecting Crash Bandicoot level of fun and vibes and energy in Spyro, and then you got basically Spyro?
I think, I think maybe you've got me. So all my friends owned Spyro and I didn't have it. So I missed it and then got it after I played Crash Team Racing.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just that I love Crash Team Racing so much and it's such a thrill that Spyro just feels like it is cute, it is charming, and like it does look beautiful, but it's just feel like it's just so repetitive. Oh no.
No. You're correct. It does get repetitive. Like, okay, so it does get repetitive. It does have an element where it do a level, find the gems, couple missions, done. There are games that are good at doing that. I think if you played Spyro back in the day, at the time, great, because it was a great 3D game. The mechanics were good. Then you get older and you try to play it again. The repetition of it without the fulfillment of all the extra bits that you could get when you keep repeating through the games, because the levels had similarities, you get spoiled with what gaming can be.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a game called Astrobot, which is out on PS5. Spyro the Dragon and Astrobot, in my eyes, very similar, but Astrobot succeeds in creating an attachment to you and the character in the fact that he is your port to PlayStation nostalgia. So all the bots that you have to rescue and free, all of them are either just regular bots or they're dressed up like different characters from PlayStation games. So you want to look out for all these bots because of the nostalgia. But it is literally a jump in a level, collect as much as you can, find this, free that, and then there's a boss after maybe 5 or 6 levels, like most games are. And it has that same kind of kiddie feel about it as well, whereas this bot is cute. The game levels do get gradually harder, but generally speaking, for a long period of time leading up to it, you can just jump in, run around in this kind of limited sandbox each level, and you can complete each level done. But where Astrobot wins is it gives me a reason to believe and to follow Astrobot without giving me a heavy-handed story. I'm trying to rebuild this PlayStation. It won Game of the Year last year. I'm trying to rebuild this PlayStation. So the way that I need to do that is by getting all the parts for it in different games. It attaches to my nostalgia.
That's really smart. That it's got like that intertextuality, and it's
Exactly. When did you start playing games? Like, what was the first console that you remember playing on the first game? Like, what?
Well, I don't know how I had this. I think it's so my sister's like 16 years older than me, and I think she must have had this and then left it at home for a week or so. But I remember playing like Super Mario on Nintendo 64 and just loving it.
Okay.
But I must have been really young, because I remember that being like having a day off school sick and being like, oh, I'm sick, but at least I get to
play on Nintendo 64.
So I think I must have been like 6 or 7 when I first played it, which is like late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that works out. And then the first console I owned I had Game Boy Color.
Oh, nice.
I was obsessed with that.
Great. I mean, great. Game Boy changed the game. Great. I never had the color. I had the Pocket. If I had the color, I can't remember if it was me or if it was my cousin, but we would all swap consoles all the time.
Yeah.
So we could save money on, like, our parents were smart about this. If you got the Nintendo, you get the Mega Drive, and then you get like, well, no one cared about him having an Atari, but if you had the Sega Mega Drive and you had the SNES, we would swap around all the time.
That's
smart way of doing it. But yeah, okay, Game Boy's great. Remember the first game you had on the Game Boy?
I played a Mary Kate and Ashley game I think it was called Winner's Circle, and it was a horse riding game.
The Olsen twins had a game.
Oh, they had many games. They had an empire. And I bought into every element of it I could. And I was looking it up before this, doing my homework, which you've not set. And the way they advertised it was real games for real girls. So maybe that's why it wasn't advertised to you.
Yeah, probably not the target audience. But also, it doesn't surprise me. Everybody who was of a certain level of celebrity in the 90s and noughties was given a license to create a game, because games were easier to make. Jackie Chan has Jackie Chan Stuntman. Like, there were everybody you can think of who was really, really famous back then, or every IP that was famous back then was turned into a video game of some sort, because it was a lot easier to create and a lot cheaper to make. And it would always attach to either the character's appeal or it would attach to the appeal of the IP. Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, all the Disney games, all of those things.
The SpongeBob game, I remember that was
game. So many different things, like and some of them were terrible, but you had a few gems, like Lion King, for example, was a gem.
Winner's Circle, I've left my Game Boy is still at my parents' house, and I play it sometimes when I'm like back at theirs, and you can complete the whole game in about half an hour.
What was it about? Was like, because they're actors, so what was the game for them about? What did you have to do in Ashley and Mary Kate, or Mary Kate?
Show jumping.
Yeah. Show jumping. As in,
so you choose which one you want to play, and I was always Mary Kate. Yeah, no, I feel like you're going to do an act out then, and I don't want to miss that.
What has Mary Kate and Ashley got to do with show jumping?
They had, I think they probably had horses, or I don't know, but I was into horses. I was into Mary Kate and Ashley, so I was sold, and I was really good at the game. Do you know what they had that was incredible in that game? The credit sequence was a level where you'd like ride through collecting donuts, I think it was, but you rode through, and that revealed like sound design by blah blah blah, like game design. It was that was really cool. That was clever. Nice.
That's probably one of the earlier games that did that. A load of games do that now, especially games like I said, like Astrobot, or you've got I'm trying to think what other games do it. Smash Brothers does it, where it's like a mini game in the credits, and you have to do as much as you can to collect points to like shoot the name of something, and then it will show like who was the artistic designer and so on.
That's so smart. Yeah. Maybe Mary Kate and Ashley didn't come up with that idea then, but in my mind,
they might.
They're the innovators.
But if it's on Game Boy Color, they may have done. But I just don't want to give Mary Kate and Ashley credit for something like that, because I can't imagine them being pioneers within the gaming world. That's bad that I say that, but I just can't see it. Are there any games that are banned in your house? Other than Spyro?
Skyrim is too scary for me. The Frost Trolls I cannot handle. Like, and every time it's just not worth it. I find it too stressful. So Skyrim's out.
Okay, cool. Greatest game of all time.
Okay, this is a toss up for me between Red Dead Redemption and GTA 5, and I think I'm going to give it to GTA 5 because it is just so much fun.
Okay,
it's just so much fun, and I know it's like. I think it's one of the best-selling games of all time, isn't it? So maybe this is like a go-to answer, but I just think it is gorgeous. I love open world games. I love like exploring. It's vibey, and just the characters are great, the lines are great. It is just the most fun. It's probably the game I enjoy playing the most, whether I'm doing it like properly and playing the missions or just driving around and getting up to trouble or trying to drive nicely and follow the law for a while.
I never know why people spend so much time doing that.
Really?
I get it, but I don't at the same time, because as a part of me that goes, I play in video games so I can do the ridiculous. So if I'm now conforming to all of the rules of driving, don't get me wrong. There are games where I'm playing the bad guy at times is cool, and I still go, I'd rather do the morally good thing here. But when it comes to a game which is also kind of pseudo-realistic, GTA, for example, where you can drive through everything, over everything, you can fly a helicopter into a bridge and so on, and jump out and land in the water, and for some reason, the density of water at the velocity impact that you hit it doesn't break your body in pieces. I still would go like crazy at all of that, rather than going, oh, you know what, there's a red light here, and let me just stop and let the whole cars go past me.
It's fun because it also only lasts for about 3 minutes. You're like, that's it, I'm going to be an upstanding citizen in GTA.
Yeah.
And then like 2 minutes later, you're like, man, fuck this.
It's like when the police are just behind you in real life and you're in the car and you're like, all right, 10
I'll do my best. Yeah,
best behavior. So it's like 3 minutes on GTA, and then afterwards you're like, you know what? Some prostitutes are here, let me pick some up and then go joyriding in this crazy game of GTA.
Oh, this makes me want to play the game.
I would advise anybody listening, do not do that in real life. But if you do want to do that, buy the game and play it in the game. I think that's what it's been made for. Just want to advise that.
So much fun. Yeah, I love it. I think it does help me express something. I don't know. It just lets me let something out that I don't get out in real life.
Fair enough. I got a suggestion for you. I don't know do you have a Nintendo Switch?
No.
Okay, if you ever do get one, buy Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? It's huge open world game. Zelda is obviously of the world of Zelda, and the game of Zelda is all like ethereal kind of folklore games in that sense. I mean, Link, who you play as, has got elf ears. He's kind of an elf in essence. But the amount of time you can spend in that particular Zelda game doing absolutely none of the storyline and still complete hundreds upon hundreds of hours of missions or little things that you want to do, and the amount of control you have. I suggest this game to everybody, and it's surprised. It won Game of the Year years ago, like 2017 or 18, one of the two. And it's phenomenal. It's an unbeatable like masterpiece.
That sounds really up my street.
Yeah.
One question, does it have horses?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so I need to buy one.
One of the main ways you travel is by taming horses, and then you ride them, and then you go to a stable and you can store your horse there. But anytime you go to any other stable, you can collect that same horse back again. And there are different types of horses, different looks, and so on. You can give them upgrades.
This appeals to me. It sounds like it's fun, beautiful, and open world explore. Yeah, I'm sold. The horses thing, I've never owned a horse or anything, but I just love horses. And probably like the worst moment I've had gaming was when I first started playing Red Dead, and I was getting into it for the first time, and I was given a new horse, and I didn't know how to change between the horses.
Okay.
So this is one of the most upsetting gaming days I've had in my life. The most. I was like, okay, I don't know how to change between horses, so I just need to kill my horse. So I killed my horse. And then it gave me a different horse, which wasn't the one I was trying to get. So I killed that. But it was a massacre. I ended up massacring these horses. Not only that, then it obviously suggests do you want to skin them for pelt? And I was like, well, yeah, let's try and recoup some of the cost.
You can't skin your horses in Zelda. So that
sounds good. So that's a selling point, because that was
if you started to have a dark side that really enjoyed that, then maybe no.
No, I didn't say I enjoyed it. I just did. I really wanted to ride this one particular horse. Didn't know you had to go into your deeds to do that. A lot of horses died that day.
Fair enough.
I sense you're about to wrap up, and I feel like I'm going to end it now on this horse killing story.
No. I was getting my quickfire questions up. So I have a game called L or R. And L or R is basically a quickfire round. I say one or the other, and you just pick which one you prefer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Mary Kate or Ashley?
Mary Kate.
Why?
She is no, they're not they're actually not identical twins. They're like fraternal twins or something. Like Mary Kate is a bit taller. Yeah. Yeah. Which you would know if you played Winner's Circle. Actually, I don't think it really is a keeper.
Maybe I will. Okay.
Maybe. Actually, I'll send you a picture after this. I think they had some PlayStation games too, and the graphics are hilarious. I'll send you one afterwards.
I prefer the younger sister who's more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was just in the full world of Mary Kate and Ashley.
No, that's
Once
fine.
my boyfriend said to me, he said, "Who's Miley Cyrus?" And he said, "Is she one of the Olsen twins?" That stays in my mind.
The fact that the surname is there where it says Cyrus should kind of push you back and go, well, why didn't she take the Olsen name? And maybe it's not because she's not an Olsen. But on the other side of that, I could see how they're from the same world. Yeah, Miley, they don't have the same. The only thing that's different about them is obviously they look a little different. But if you told me they were related in some form or fashion, I would believe it. Yeah.
Okay, quick question for you then.
Go ahead.
Olsen twins or Miley Cyrus?
Olsen twins.
Ah.
Olsen twins. Only because I remember growing up watching their show, and I've never watched really any TV shows with Miley Cyrus. She did one Black Mirror episode. I was like, that was pretty good. Other than that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, other than that, yeah. Sega or Nintendo?
Nintendo,
amen.
1080.
Say again?
That I just said 1080. I was just thinking about that. I said out. Yeah, the snowboarding game.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that stays with me. You can play on like ghost mode where you like you race against your previous best race.
Yeah.
That sticks with me. Sometimes I think of that in like stand up or whatever, where it's like I'm doing the set, but I feel like there's a ghost version of me that's like killing it.
That's a very good analogy. Like you kind of going against the same time that you did before. You tried not to obviously beat the time. You tried to match it because you don't want to undersell. And you also don't want to overshoot it either. So you try to match it if it's near enough the perfect 10, 15, 20, whatever set time you're supposed to do. Good character choices or evil character choices?
Evil.
He said it so innocently. Only be able to play games you've already completed or only be able to play new games you've never tried?
Old games.
Yeah?
Games already completed. Yeah.
A partner forever who hates video games or a partner who forever beats you at a video game you love?
Partner forever who beats me at video games, at a game I love. I don't really care about being good at video games.
Okay.
I'd like to, and I feel like actually this is not true on Crash Team Racing. If a partner beat me at Sewer Speedway, that would be disastrous for my ego. I think it's just a core part of my self-esteem. That it's just like, well, even if anything's going badly for me, I'm like, oh well, I could still take him on Sewer Speedway.
But what happens if he beats you and you go just one off, and then you go again and again and again and again, and you never can get them on Sewer Speedway? Would you get used to it, or do you think that would break you because of the confidence you have in that level?
I think I could get used to it. I could be, or maybe I'd be like, wow, this is the guy for me. This is meant to be.
Okay, because it maybe gives you the challenge forever to always have to be better and better. Fair enough. TV shows and movies based on games or games based on TV shows and movies?
TV shows based on games. I think that sounds the most fun.
That's the one that most people pick, and I'm so glad. I think because we're in an era where we get to see so many of them, whereas back then, games based on TV shows and movies, like I was able to say a few back then, and only one of them was really good at the time. Lion King, maybe Aladdin as well, actually, those two. But Lion King was a nightmare. But Back to the Future, any of those games, don't remember how they went.
Yeah, some of the others felt, I guess, a bit like cash grabs. It's a bit like, oh, they already like the...
Yeah, they were always attached to like a movie would come out and if you look how many Alien games there were back then Terminator games, then RoboCop games, like any of the action heroes that were out back then always had a game attached to it, especially ones that were kind of a dystopian future type of game. Always had a game attached to it, and they were just about okay. I had Batman Returns, they had Batman Forever. The Batman Returns game I did love, but it when I look back, I loved it because I love Batman, but at the time, it wasn't the greatest. At the time it was great. I mean, looking back now, thinking about the time, it wasn't the greatest. Live in a world based on video games, or have video game characters live in your world?
Live in a world based on video games.
Okay.
As much as I love John Marston, I don't know if I want to be like bumping into him at like Sainsbury's.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. But if you lived in the world, would it be like a Red Dead world, or would it be like World of Warcraft or a different world?
I think it would be a magical world. Yeah.
Somewhere magical where you don't skin horses just because you can't get the one you want.
Yeah, that for me is a magical world that I want to live in.
Fair enough. Listen, Chelsea, you've been fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. I've had so much fun. I find you so like calming, and I just was thinking a lot throughout this when you were talking about how much gratitude you had on stage. I just feel that just shines through. You just
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
it's
you.
really enjoyable spending time with you. Thanks for having me on here.
Thanks. See, Mum, it does work. Yeah. No, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Try Zelda. Watch Nida, Battle Angel.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got making notes.
When you see it, it's on Netflix. Honestly, if you don't like it within half an hour, I think then I'm wrong. But I guarantee with Alita you will. Other than that, honestly, you have been amazing. Let us know where people can get tickets to your tour, where they can see you, where they can catch your content. Tell us.
You can follow me. The best place to follow me is on Instagram. I'm at Chelsea Birkby. I have all of the info about my show on there. And I've got, my last special is up on YouTube now. So you can please watch that. That's called No More Mr. Nice Chelsea. And it taps into some of the stuff we've been talking about, because you get to see me at my most aggressive, my like fully angry and powerful stage persona.
So I love it.
There we go.
I love it. Thank you, Chelsea. Really appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Replay Gang. That has been Chelsea Birkby. And we will catch you next time for another episode. So take it easy. Look after yourself. Remember, if you play games, you're part of the gang. You've been listening to Aurie Styla's Replay Gang. The show is written and presented by me, Aurie Styla, and produced by Matt Nida. Replay Gang is a Wild Ambitions production. Leave us a rating, tell your friends, and we'll be back with another episode next week.